to the final Friday episode, not that it matters to you, the viewer, of the Caffeinated Librarians. Today we're talking about my pick.
Fridays, though, but that's okay.
They all come out on Fridays anyway, but that's okay.
But we're recording for the last time on Friday.
That's right. And our pick today is my favorite film, After the Wedding. I still can't tell if it was made in 2006 or 2008, but it's by the great Susanna Baer and stars a litany of Denmark's finest actors. I'm really excited to see what you all think. So that guy who played Christian, the husband?
Yeah, all right, well, we were gonna,
Let's
I mean...
bring it in.
Let's
bring it in.
No, I mean, I have to
start
say,
with this energy.
this guy,
Hey,
what an idiot.
Yeah.
You have it made.
Okay, but he was already cheating before they got married.
Right, but I mean, like,
Well,
all right,
what a fool.
if you're gonna
He's
cheat,
an
and I
idiot.
don't
Yeah,
condone
he's an
cheating.
idiot.
He's an
If
idiot.
you're gonna cheat, do not do it in your apartment. Take her to a hotel.
But men that cheat aren't smart.
Don't.
Yeah.
So
It just doesn't make sense.
But like, all right, he's
Should put a
already
disclaimer at the
like,
bottom,
like
though,
this,
not-
like craven, like I'm marrying this woman because her father is rich.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's exactly
but
what it
it's
is.
why is he endangering his position further?
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
he's this terrible to begin
But
with.
I think
Have
this-
some preservation.
But I was also
instinct.
thinking about his whole wedding speech when he talks about how, like, you asked me for money and you still owe me. Like, when he was giving his whole wedding speech, I know it was a joke, but I was kind of already getting the
Off the
douche
right? Oh,
vibes.
yeah.
well, that's
I
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
thought
By
he's
design.
like
Yeah.
like
he's
some
sleeping with someone else from the beginning of the
some-
movie when
Yeah.
he's talking to the receptionist.
some old woman chimed in too. It was like you'd think he was marrying Jorgen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Grandma.
Yeah.
And the
I
receptionist
like the
was
grandma
the
was
girl.
Yes.
nearly
Yeah.
crying
His
because she
ex-girlfriend.
lost solitaire or something. That was just such an odd little moment.
Well, that guy has become a filmmaker himself, and he made that horror film Speak No Evil.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the husband just gave me the ick from the start, so.
Yeah.
He gave
Yeah.
us all the ick. That's
Yeah.
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 Because he's like a smarmy bastard.
I
social climber.
Yeah.
What
Oh,
a
yeah.
terrible week for that poor girl.
I know,
Yeah.
Anna.
She's
I
never
felt
dead.
bad for Anna the entire movie.
How is this movie 1 week?
I know.
Yeah.
Is it
It's,
really only
it's,
1 week?
it's an
Yeah,
eventful
Yeah,
one
he's
week.
calling up
only
the
there
kid and he's like,
for
"Oh,
a
I
week,
won't make
yeah.
it for your birthday."
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's
The
Yeah.
kid's
Yeah.
birthday was like within the week
Yeah.
he was supposed to be in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't
I
think,
think the
it-
death
Denmark.
probably happens
But
later.
that was
Yeah, the
halfway
death
through the
happens
movie.
later.
No,
The
that
movie
was like
was-
toward the end. That was after he accepted the contract.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a long week, an
that's
eventful
what I'm
week.
saying.
It's
Yeah.
an eventful week.
Yeah.
I mean, don't all of our weeks sometimes feel longer than they actually are?
I gotta be honest though, I've had some long weeks. I've never had weeks like that.
Yeah.
I
That
have.
poor girl. Yeah.
Although I gotta say,
Lisa.
that scene
So I know
where
it's
like,
that's why I think I'm numbed.
Oh no.
Didn't have the emotional reaction I thought I would.
where she goes out to dinner with him and brings all the baby pictures, that was just like the most tender scene. And she's like, I heard you cheated on mom with your friend. And he's like, yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know,
At that
I
point, he has
think-
no reason not to be honest.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he could have easily not have told the truth, and I think I appreciated the fact that he was very much open and honest with her, because
I like his reactions
I
to
don't-
things too.
Yeah, I don't really think anyone is more aware that Jacob was more than Jacob.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
You get
right,
that
yeah.
sense for immediately. Like in that
Yeah.
first scene, it was like this is an angry man who has run from something. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
And just, I feel like Mads Mikkelsen is just so, like, the
Yeah.
most magnetic actor out
It's-
there.
High cheekbones.
Yeah.
Really high
Yes.
it's so odd for me
Just have-
seeing him in this role as opposed to his more recent stuff where he just plays a villain and plays it very well. To see him play this was like, I had to like kind of put stuff that I've seen him in out of my head to really appreciate the performance that he put in this movie.
yeah, because
Yeah,
people
that's
in
kind of what
Denmark
jokes
are
are
like, yeah, this is a normal guy, and in
Yeah.
America we're like, oh, he's a villain.
Yeah.
He's very scary.
Yeah. From a Bond villain to Hannibal, I had to like,
Yeah.
no, this is who the actor is.
I am looking at this this Dogma vow, and this is so melodramatic. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you can just see
Furthermore,
a bunch of pretentious Scandinavian college kids getting together and like, oh, we're gonna change the game.
there have been 35 to date that have met the real standards, though there's a lot of cheating in there too.
Interesting.
And what was the cheating that After the Wedding did?
After the Wedding is not considered dogma.
Okay.
Her earlier movie, Open Heart, I think was her official dogma one.
Is that about surgery?
No, I don't think so.
I'm sorry. When you're saying dogma, can you what does that mean?
The
Okay.
one with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon?
Oh, I thought it was referring
Just
to.
kidding. Just kidding.
All right.
Oh.
I
an
guess
actual
we're
religious
quasi.
statement,
We've
isn't it?
quasi
Yes.
started the
Yeah, yeah,
episode.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
just do an intro.
Yeah.
at the end.
But so it was a sort of like film movement started by Lars von Trier and Thomas Winterbottom.
Okay. That's what.
Winterberg. I think you're.
Winterberg, yes.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Winterbottom is the English director, Michael Winterbottom.
Yeah. What did he do?
He did The Trip,
Weren't those
and The
the
Trip to
guys
Italy,
from
and The
The
Trip to
Social
Spain,
Network?
and The Trip to Greece.
Okay.
Funny about the
Yes.
Oh, this is you explained that. Yeah, early. Okay.
We weren't on camera for it.
Oh,
so,
okay.
but yeah, and it was this manifesto. They were edgy college kids, more or less, and they were like, the official rules are shooting must be done on location. Props and sets must not be brought in. The sound must never be produced apart from the images or vice versa. The camera must be handheld. Any movement or immobility attainable in the hand is permitted. The film must be in color. Special lighting is not acceptable.
So any high school food.
Optical work and filters are
Wow.
forbidden. The film must not contain superficial action. Murders, weapons, etc. must not occur. Temporal and geographical alienation are forbidden. That is to say, the film takes place here and now. Genre movies are not acceptable. The film format must be Academy 35mm. The director must not be credited. Furthermore, I swear as a director to refrain from personal taste. I am no longer an artist. I swear to refrain from creating a work, as I regard the instant as more important than the whole. My supreme goal is to force the truth out of my characters and settings. I swear to do so by all means available and at the cost of any good taste and any aesthetic considerations.
You know
Thus-
who was?
I think that can be done with.
Finish that sentence.
Thus I make my vow of chastity.
I like this.
Wow.
I think
So-
that could be done with effects and stuff too. And-
Yeah.
One
and with
director
props
who
and
was
sets.
really moved by Dogma, the Dogma movement, was Danny Boyle,
Oh yeah.
because he was stunned by the intimacy of the camera movements and how all the interesting things that could be done when you were basically in a room with one camera moving around, and it inspired a lot of his work.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Von Trier, but there's a great documentary he did where he like challenges a film professor he used to have to recreate a short film he did in the 60s, and he keeps imposing new restrictions on him every time. He has to remake it like 3 or 4 times or something, and each
Wow.
time he's like, oh, you need to do it like this, you can't do any cuts, also it has to be in Haiti, and just like bizarre stuff. And like I do kind of enjoy the philosophy. It's just like, all right, we're giving you restrictions, this will be the mother of invention. Like,
I like Von Trier's work when he kind of left the Dogma behind, like when he started doing. Honestly, I thought Nymphomaniac was an incredible movie. Although it's weird coming from his male perspective, a movie like that, but he does better than most men, I think.
I haven't watched any of his actual like features. I'm gonna be honest. He put me off as a person.
Oh, in that interview?
Yeah,
the
and
AIDS
recent
thing?
stuff too. Like
Yeah.
like Bjork has come out and been like, yeah, I was just
yeah.
abused on the set of Dancer in the Dark. Like,
Oh wow.
I watched that interview with him. I think it was during when
Melancholia, right?
Melancholia
It
was
was when he was
released.
actually like beloved, and all of a
And-
sudden he just rolls up at cons and he's like, I like Adolf Hitler.
Oh my
that was
god.
so
He's
it's
a monstrous man.
Yeah.
He's an
totally.
edgelord. I don't think he actually agrees with that, but
and
he was looking to.
it was like Lars von Trier channeling Woody Allen and making like this weird introspective like self-critique, but I think he, I mean, God, this is like an apologist for something like that. I'm not doing that. I don't know if he meant exactly what he said, but he also didn't do any heavy lifting to try and step
Clarify.
away from what he was saying.
No, his defense was like, that's Danish humor. What can I say?
Wow.
God almighty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Way to like alienate a
not,
lot of people.
Not a great
No.
guy.
Wasn't a great moment for Lars von Trier.
No.
Anyway, we talked about guys who direct movies enough. Tell me about Suzanne Bier.
I would say she's like my favorite filmmaker, except her output, she doesn't have a lot of output. She's made, she did the Night Manager, if you watch that show with Tom Hiddleston and Hugh Laurie, which I think is gorgeous. She has a very like intimate filmmaking style if I use After the Wedding as an example, there's this scene where he goes on vacation with the kids. Mads Mikkelsen comes over.
It's my favorite.
All they're
part.
doing is sitting together,
Yeah.
arguing at first, and sitting together on the stairs talking. And if you just look at the lines, there's almost not much occurring.
Yeah.
But the way she makes them, way they act, the way she catches their performances, and the little smiles and the little moments of quiet and like.
And everything in Helene's eyes, like in that moment too.
Yeah.
Like she's like keeps like glancing over at him and like she's almost like tearing up a little bit, but like smiling at the same time.
These are people that hurt each other, but still
Love each other.
Yeah.
Hello.
You're good.
I'm glad you got to. There. Now you know.
Can you hand me my soda? I need that. I'm sitting there like, this movie makes me thirsty.
But yeah, it's like I think it did such a nice job of like showing a whole group of people that had some flaws and redeeming every single one of them. There was no villain except Christian, but he got dismissed as just like a stupid boy, which he was just a stupid boy. So we moved on from Christian. So I think Susanna Bier, what did she do? Love Is All You Need. If you saw Pierce Brosnan, and it took place between Denmark and Italy.
I hate to say this. You know what her most popular film probably is?
It's that one on Netflix.
Bird Box.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It is interesting watching her become
We all did.
I don't know, like director for hire, because she does make a quality movie.
Oh yeah.
She was even in the running to direct a Bond film for a short period of time. Like she was up for directing, I think, Spectre, but then dropped out.
I get a little sad when directors who clearly had like a vision, like end up doing for hire gigs, even though like there are far worse fates in this world.
Yeah. Makes her a pretty penny for sure.
Yeah.
She did some HBO series with Hugh Grant
The Undoing.
and Nicole Kidman, which was like absolutely.
My mom loved that. I meant to watch it because they were billing it as like the follow up to Big Little Lies, and those were my stories. So.
And she did one called In Another World, which won the Oscar for Best International Film, but I still think After the Wedding is her best work, and I think honestly it's my all-time 100% favorite film. I've watched it.
Wasn't this movie up for nominated for Best Foreign Film?
Yeah, it was nominated but didn't win. That year
Okay.
went to someone else, but yeah, I just
I can
adore.
understand why though it was nominated, because it is a beautifully filmed movie.
And just like you said, Lars, is that his name? I forget his name. I just call him Uwe. A man called Uwe. Who's the actor again? Oh my God, Rolf Loskard.
Oh.
That bellowing voice and like I
yeah.
hated him so much.
Oh,
at the
that
beginning
was-
of this
That's
movie.
what I said
Yeah.
to Joe. I was like, you hate this guy, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's why he's like this. I was like, oh man. And then the scene where, I mean, I don't know if we want to jump ahead that far.
Please do.
But the part where, he seems to be pretty, well, I guess he's not pretty cool with it, but he seems to be like he's setting everything up because he knows he's gonna die. But then when he has that realization, like, this is the last birthday I'm ever gonna have. You don't have to plan my kid's future with me because I'm gonna die. He's like that raw emotion was like.
Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking in my head, I was like, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
You're making me watch this. Like it was like.
I was worried about that actually.
It was raw. It was
Yeah.
it was hard to watch.
But
I appreciated Helena in that scene though.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you've been there and you know someone when they realize they're going to die and there's nothing that they can do, she isn't necessarily crying, but she's also just like she doesn't know what to do because
Yeah.
there's nothing she can do.
Right.
She's just there for him and holding him, comforting. And
And,
that was.
yeah.
I was gonna say his performance was incredible. Her performance was the anchor of that moment, and it was just
Yeah. I kind of thought she was the best part of the entire movie.
Yeah.
I mean, just like she did so much, she emoted so much without saying anything.
Yeah.
I really adored the scene when her and Anna kind of made up. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just
And she keeps petting her.
yeah, it was very sweet, but in a very real way of just like, yeah, this is a real mother and daughter who have fought a lot.
Yeah.
Like they've been through this
Yeah.
before, but like
And she's asking her such hard questions, and she's answering them in such a sincere way, where some of the answers she's like, I don't know, and it's like it was real. It felt real. It felt legitimate. You know.
I feel like each scene in this movie, it wasn't wasted. Like the dialogue was very much, to the point. Which I appreciated because there wasn't a lot of like fill-ins, I guess.
Dog
It's-
in 95.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna make a crack. I'm sorry. I was gonna say next episode we're doing Julie and Donkey Boy by Harmony Korine.
It's not too bad.
No, I was just gonna say another moment I enjoyed was the breakfast scene after Anna has like left her husband and she returns and she cries because she forgot the juice. But like a part of me kind of feels like when you're highly emotional, little things like that will like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like you sort of focus on what's so insignificant about it. But I thought that was very real, and there are like a lot of those really real moments where where like I'm sure everything was scripted, but like those moments where you wonder, was it scripted? It's just very natural, the way that they're responding and the way you respond to certain situations. Even when the first time she goes to see her dad and she's waiting outside the door, like I could almost put myself in that, even though I've never been in that situation, but it's like, how would you feel? Because she's not sure how he's going to react. Like, will he want to speak to her? Will he not? It's a very real kind of moment as she's waiting, and then she says, okay, fine, I'm just going to leave. But then he opens the door so she can't leave. She has to kind of, like, face him now. And the awkwardness of the scene is very believable.
Yeah.
Like, even when he offers her the one, and she tried to open it, says, oh, no, you need to open it this way. It was very well done.
Yeah.
And getting back to Jorgen a little bit, I felt like this movie did a good job of like kind of along the way it kept surprising you subtly
Yeah.
a little bit, and then with him, like I was telling Joe before, I was like, I really hated him, like for a good portion of it. I'm like, he's just a rich that thinks he can buy whatever he wants, and then you're like he's trying to buy Jorgen so that Jorgen never sees Helene again, and then you're like, oh wait, he wants him to have dinner with her. He's trying to test Helene here, and then you're like, oh, he realizes that his wife was in love once, and actually wants her to be happy when he's dead. I was like, what the
Yeah.
This movie, I think, solved my class rage. Like, if you think movies can't do anything to teach you emotionally or anything,
Yeah.
I think I was the most like class raging
Yeah.
ever in the early aughts, and I saw this movie in 2010, and I was just like, and learned that they can be good too.
Yeah.
What did you think, Amanda? Since it's freshest in your mind.
All right.
Oh no.
All right.
Yeah, there's too much support of this movie right now.
So, for the context, if nobody's told, I'm sure you said why I'm not here.
Nope. We just
Okay.
started basically 5 minutes.
So, I had an issue trying to watch it last night.
What was
Before
your
this
issue?
pod, Brian didn't get out till like 1 o'clock, and I was super tired, and I had to drive all the way here today. So, I was like, I was trying really hard to finish the movie, but then I was like falling asleep. And I was like, I can't finish this.
We really only started the podcast 5 minutes before you came in.
Oh my god. Anyways, so when I did watch it at home, I did take some pictures of some funny moments, or in the beginning. One of which is the bathtub scene, which was great, where he's really all over them feet. He was like, she's like, I'll send her home tomorrow, I promise. On the toes. I was like, ooh, gross.
God.
I found that scene pretty endearing.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I thought it was
adorable.
nice, but I'm not gonna lie, I was sitting at home, and since a lot of like humor on the internet now is about people who love feet, I couldn't help but chuckle for a moment.
What websites are you?
Like Tarantino fanboy.
Exactly. And then
They got Bob Odenkirk. They saw he was following an Instagram account that was just like sexy feet or something.
There's a website for celebrity feet.
Really?
Of course.
Yeah, they'll do for
Of
you
course there are.
because
Yeah.
I watch people who know about it,
Sure.
and they say something. They're like, "Are my feet on there?" And they're like, "Yeah." Anyways, that was just kind of a chuckle out of me for like 2 seconds. It was a very cute scene, but I was still like.
Oh my God.
Second of which, the grandma. I love her. Every moment we see her, she is just gambling.
Yeah.
She's on her like, why can't I do it on the internet? We've all related to this.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I deal with this on like a bi-weekly basis. Like, why can't I get on the internet? Poker's gonna be on 3 minutes. I'm like, why'd you wait till 3 minutes to come tell me?
It's a big house.
It was a big house, and it took
What a
going
beautiful
far.
property too.
Oh yeah,
my
no.
God.
He said like a gajillionaire.
Yeah.
But I love.
That could have been the orphanage. Jakob could have moved all the kids there.
So I do. There's all these like I watch a lot of things about Scandinavia and Denmark. It's like a fantasy place for me to go to. I've been in the airports, but not actually in the places. But a lot of things about Danish culture and it's hygge is the word I'm probably
Yeah.
mispronouncing right now. They, as far as like what's explained to me in these videos, they do support people, you know, having good lives and being rich, but they actually sort of respond very kind of poorly to people who want to be super, super rich.
Mhm.
They look at that as what's wrong with you,
Yeah.
what's wrong with your happiness that you need all this. So I imagine
I have
that's
a lot
like
of
that was a
hobbies.
context that, as
A lot of
someone from the
expensive
United
hobbies.
States, we
Yeah.
probably didn't understand going in because we're so used to the celebration of people who figured out how to sell M&Ms. So they must be a genius because they're rich,
Mm-hmm.
as you were saying. Back to your feet.
My feet. I'm not in feet. For the record, it's weird.
Did Mods get his feet out? Did that
Yeah,
I
happen?
did
He's
not
barefoot
see
in the
any
beginning.
grippers
Yeah.
come out.
That's
Okay,
right.
but I'm sure somewhere on the internet
I'm
they're
sorry.
there.
What word did you say?
Grippers.
I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared.
Is that actually?
There are things in this world I don't
Because
know.
when you do with your toes, you.
But but is it no? But is it an actual term
Yes.
or is
If you
it?
look it up online, it's a
But do
term.
I? Okay, fine. Because I'm on the
It's not,
staff
it's not
Wi-Fi.
like a sexual term.
Okay.
It's just another way of calling feet something funny.
Because if I look this up and
Are you gonna be okay, Lewis?
weird stuff comes
Here are
up.
the rails.
Y'all had your emotional
Here
discussion.
are-
Now I'm getting into the funny stuff. This is gonna sound really insensitive of me, but while I was finishing up the movie,
You're an insensitive person.
No.
I'm not insensitive for the most part. I
Amanda's gonna
sympathize
be
with
like, why
Anna
did he
the most.
cry? Big deal. He was gonna die.
So that's not my thought. Is that the way they cut it is like he's having the emotional like I don't want to die, oh no, crying, and I was like, oh, that's really upsetting. And then like 5 seconds later, cut to him dead. I'm like, oh no, he cried himself to death. Because a part of me was thinking while he was crying so heavily, and I was
That's
like,
what
I
I
get it.
thought-
I was
yeah.
like, oh, if I keep crying like that, and you're gonna die. And then 5 seconds later, boom, and I was like, oh my god, he cried himself to death. I was like, I felt really bad. I was like, don't do that, Batman. But the way they cut, I was like, how many? Like, there's no time lapse.
And no,
It was
there
like,
were
6 months later.
there were some, I feel like there were some visual gags with the editing
Yeah.
here. Like early on, before you know what meds he's taking, I kind of thought he was just like going in his Quaalude stash. And
Yeah.
because it just cut to him like spaced out at the rehearsal or the wedding or whatever. So
I legitimately just thought he was an addict and an alcoholic, like
Yeah.
Jakob
same.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this movie. When I bought it, I was Blockbuster Online still existed, and I was getting DVDs sent to me, and that's how I watched it. And like,
Oh, Blockbuster.
I didn't know what to expect, other than I really liked the actor Mads Mikkelsen because I was a big fan of King Arthur from 2004, where he played Tristan, and I thought
Amazing.
he just was like
Amazing.
I just thought this guy is such an excellent actor. And then James Bond when he was the Sheep, and I was like, I thought I was getting a Scandinavian film. I had just watched this other film, not Scandinavian, called Ravanka. I was like, this is going to be some dark, pervy mystery. That's what I think I'm getting into right now, like a Joe Nesbo book or something.
I see.
And it was this intense. It was this like it was such a lesson learned for me. Like as far as like if you ever like writing a screenplay or what have you, like this mystery is as arresting as any murder mystery could ever be, and there's not an ounce of like violence. There's nothing like subversive about it. It's just this absolutely like magnetic story about what are they really up to right now. And I don't know, I was just so in love with it.
I also want to point out the use of eyes in this film is rampant. Every scene when there was like emotional tension, even with the stuffed heads, I was like, I didn't have a chance to be able to like go into like why they chose to really focus on the animal heads versus the people's. It's easier to read like with people, like what the eyes are trying to convey with each other, but when they stare at like these animals, it's like
Well,
they're hollow, they're lifeless. That's probably the problem.
We covered this actually before we even started
They
recording. We were
mirror
talking
life.
about this. Yeah, he was by himself, surrounded
Stranger
by.
in a Strange Land.
No, he
No,
was
not Strange Land.
in his own home.
Oh, Jurgen? No, I meant like Mods. Mods is kind of like they do a scene where he first goes to their house
Oh, I
and
thought
he
you were
sees
talking
the
about.
animal and he like stares at it and I'm just like
I got you.
Stranger in a Strange Land. But I could assume I was like, but I really want to know what more they were trying to get out of constantly doing it. Versus
Wait,
like
you're talking about people eyes. You're talking about taxidermy deer.
There were also a lot of people eyes.
There were.
there are a lot of people eyes, which as I
I-
said is easier to read.
I mean,
like as far as messaging
I
is concerned.
I think it might just be as simple as the line between life and death. Like,
Can we?
Yeah.
It was hard to see. How do you pronounce his name?
Jorgen?
Jorgen. I want to make sure because I was reading their names in English. And
Oh.
I was like,
Yeah.
trying really hard to hear their names, but they talk so fast. And I was
E's
like,
at the end are A's, which I'm a good example of that.
That's true. I'm not gonna lie. I looked at your name and I'm like Annalise, and they're like, no, Annalise. I'm like,
My maiden name is
Annalise.
Hansen too, so
I had someone in a class yesterday that did the same thing, trying to break my teacher on how to.
When I actually recommended this movie to someone, and I was back in the day, I was working at Farmer and the Fish, and one of the cooks wanted to watch an intense drama. And his biggest problem with the movie was this constant zoom-ins on people's eyes. And we agreed that it was just, he hated it. I liked it. I thought it was just like this intense intimacy of the filmmaking style of you're basically getting into these people's souls with their responses. But he was like, no, it's just weird.
just like, I don't know how well like reflections were captured in the eyes too. Like, like they pulled off like that opening shot of Blade Runner about 50 times and just totally casually. Just
That was really zoomed in on one eye though in Blade Runner.
no, I know, but like it's the same kind of effect
seeing,
of just
right?
like seeing the reflection, and I don't know. It was very well done.
Can we
Yeah.
give a shout out to the drunk girl that was trying to hit on?
Yo, I
that's
was
the
like,
that's
she's
the
gonna
woman
hit
that
on him.
Christian cheated with.
Oh.
It was that
Yeah,
her. I was
that's-
like,
that's-
who is it? It was like, it better not be that drunk shit.
But I-
She was upside down, and I was like,
Yeah, so
on,
it's his
hold on,
ex-girlfriend
let's-
who's also the receptionist.
what a punk. There's a lot of problems at this firm. They
Yeah.
need to address.
But
Like,
I felt
workplace
so bad for her
relationships.
at that moment because like I was like, oh
No.
my god. I mean, I'll clarify.
This is what happens
No.
when you
Yeah,
date
no.
your
No, I don't
No,
feel bad
I don't
for
feel
her.
bad for her at all.
Because you have to also have the knowledge that she was already sleeping with Christian at
See,
the
That's why
wedding.
she said
Yeah.
she was like, well, because Anna gets what she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Well,
I'm
if you
jealous much.
if you like
Yeah.
me do not know that, and I was like saying, oh, he's eventually just gonna tell her to just like, you know. I kind of felt bad. I was like, oh, that's embarrassing. But I like how honest he was. Like, are you stupid? Leave me alone. Because at first I was like saying,
throw her in the pool.
I also thought
I thought
I was like,
so
she's
too.
so close. I'm like,
Of course.
Her head a little
She
bit.
walked it off though. She wasn't
She
phased.
walked it off like a
Yeah.
champ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
She's
she
like,
was.
I'm the hottest girl here.
I thought she was gonna make a scene for like a moment. I thought she was gonna like
I
get
think-
revenge because of the way he brushed her off.
I think we all thought she was gonna make a scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did, and later on, just with someone else.
I just.
She sure made a scene.
Yeah.
First off, how
That
dare
wasn't the
she
scene
hit
I
on
thought she was
Matt
gonna
Damon?
make.
That
That wedding speech from Anna was kind of crazy, a little out of
Yeah.
pocket there.
Right?
Yeah.
To bring that up, like, at your wedding, like,
I-
in front of everybody.
I love her. She prefaced it with, "Well, I know Mom's worried something's gonna go wrong, so here it is.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna make it go wrong."
Yeah.
I mean,
Here's our family secrets.
She gets a pass though, because it's the most. She thinks it's the most important day of her life. She doesn't. I loved when Jorgen was like, "Anna's gonna get married several times."
Oh, yeah.
It's like the best line.
Yeah,
This
like,
one's
the
for
first One's the
practice.
hardest.
Yeah. So she's
Oh my God.
like just
First one
taking it as like
is
the beginning of her new life and making everything crystal clear. And I'm sure everyone knew anyway, but like the only
Yeah.
one who didn't was Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
poor Mods. Mods always looks like he's haunted by something. His very essence
Yeah.
as a person is that
Mm.
he's constantly being haunted by like a ghost of the past or something. Just his very facial features. This one, it's like he was, first off, he had a really nice hotel room, and he still looked incredibly like greasy the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm like, man. But then again, he's also lived in a country that
My dude
Didn't
only
have these
had
luxuries.
one suit. Like, what was
he had
his
one
suit?
shirt and one suit. That's all he had. He had that stripe
Yeah.
and just it was cute and adorable. I love it. I love the green. I love the earth tones.
Can we
But
talk about
you
the
know,
woman like just running through every feature like she couldn't wait to get out of the room?
Oh, yeah, I couldn't follow any
yeah.
of that.
I was like,
The which one?
the woman who's showing him the hotel room.
Oh yeah, no, she was so quick. I
And
was
she's
wow.
like racing through every feature.
She has stuff to do.
That's a nice room.
No, but I love it though that
For you.
afterwards, like a part of me was like, oh my god, I wouldn't even remember anything. She just, and I like how he's like pushing, and then the button push that makes the blinds go down. And like,
She
it's
didn't
such a
explain
real
anything
moment.
to him. She's like, bye, and I'm like, 4 stars. Service terrible. No Coke. Fine.
Oh yeah, they only had
He
Pepsi.
tried to offer her a Coke at the hotel.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, well, I guess we don't have that.
Just
Here's
have
a water in a shot glass.
Yeah.
I'm like, great first impression. Let's go.
Well,
I respect him. He was unhurried. You know, he was also very anxious and nervous.
At least he offered her something.
I'm not gonna lie, like, via my own personal, like, life experience, I do sympathize heavily with Anna. Whereas we're not, like, the same situation. I knew who my dad was from the start, but, like, we were, like, separated. So it's one of those things where, like, you know, I understood her when she had the fight with her mom, she was like, why do you want to know him now? And she's like, because it's my life, I do whatever I want. Like, why would I want to know him? Let your kid do it. There's no harm in it. Let them experience who they are as a person. I don't think Mods is the same person he was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, she's operating under that
Before she was
assumption.
born.
Yeah, she doesn't know that. Though.
She doesn't know
Yeah.
that, yeah, but the mom kind of like made him out to be the terrible guy when she was like, he would like, you know, he slept with anything.
Because
had
I think-
apples, and he
yeah.
was drunk, and he did drugs, and I'm like,
Yeah,
sounds like a fun guy.
fun guy. But like,
Sorry, you were saying.
I know to a certain extent, like, you know, my mom was kind of similar in that, you know, she would tell me stories about my dad more in the negative context. And in a sense, it's like a parental, like, trying to protect you.
Yeah.
But also, you have to kind of let your kids experience that on their own, especially when they're an adult.
Yeah.
If that's something they want to do, they should do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that, and, like, you know, everything's cool with me and my dad and stuff like that. We're happy as a plain. But I thought it was just kind of harsh of the mom at the beginning to be like, why would you want to do that? Like, why now? Why now of all times? It's like, because now she just figured it out.
I feel
You just
like
figured it out, and then she made that speech at her wedding, and you made her look stupid.
I feel like the mom might have been projecting a little bit
Oh, yeah.
too.
Well, it's definitely
So
it's a stressful
like
situation.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I have no, like, I don't blame her fully, because it's like, I get it. It's a stressful situation. You didn't think that this Yakov was going to be the same one that you had a tryst with.
And she also changes
Yeah, everyone
as the
changes.
movie
Yeah.
progresses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and I thought it
She-
was kind of nice that they were being more friendly towards the end, but I think it's also a realization of what Jorgen was trying to do was to try to be like, I understand, like, you know.
When it's just Jakob and Helen sitting together at the house, and he asked her that, he's like, so how have you been? And she's like,
dare I ask?
She's like, oh, the last 20 years, up and down.
I loved his response. He's like, well, I have a daughter. Found out I have a daughter. She's like, congrats.
Yeah, really.
I love that they were able to kind of bond again over that. I know it wasn't like, you know, maybe romantic bonding, but it was like, you know, going back to.
It's such a humane story.
The most humane thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, usually, like, with dramas, it's like, no, don't ever come back.
And Joe pointing out, like, the constant, like adoring of the daughter and petting that the mom does.
I felt that to be a little uncomfortable, but that's just me. She was like really like in there, like grabbing, like I was like, Brian's parents do that, and it bugs me because I was like, my family is not that intimate. Like we'll give each other a kiss on the cheek. That's all you get, and maybe a hug here and there. That's it. But it's like one of those things where it's like getting that cuddly with each other is a little like.
I had a Scandinavian mother that is completely normal. That's very much like squish you, grab your head.
Squishing.
Yeah.
My dad's side of the family is all about squishing, but you know, not my mom's.
Yeah.
We're stern people, Southern people.
Well, I'll say I really appreciate that you guys took the time to watch. I was almost scared to go into this podcast because I'm so like in love with this movie, and then the idea that people were going to tell me it was really bad. I was like a little nervous about that, but thank you for watching it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It was our pleasure.
So I don't think.
I love Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, I was gonna
love
say I
that
don't think we
man.
could say it was bad. The performances are phenomenal. It's a very intimate film, and
Just
it just makes you feel. I was expecting, because major or parent death is a really big thing for me, and I was expecting it to hit me harder than it did, but I think. I don't know. Maybe it was because it was the dad and not the mom. I don't know.
It's finally not the mom.
Yeah.
That dog.
I think it's also because, like, even though there's a death, you know that the family will be taken care of. I think that makes a difference too.
They are prepared
versus
for
if they're
it.
just all alone.
And no one's
Yeah.
being like feeling like
Yeah.
they're being left behind.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
even the little boy, they have Jakob there, and she does still have her mom, and they have a good family dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Pramod, the little boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
so mature at the end. He was like, you could come with me. And he's like,
So you could
I don't
visit.
think I want to do that. You can come visit. You got money now. You got 12 mil. What's up? You
That was
share.
and he's like, he's heartbroken, but at the very
Yeah.
last moment, he's like, this is going to be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a good shot to end on.
Mhm. And I think that that's like the overall message of like the movie is like things may look, but they'll turn all right in the end of it.
You get used to your new normal.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for this truncated 30-minute episode of Caffeinated Librarians. It's actually a nice length of episode. And I'm going to bring you out and say we'll see you for the next movie, which is going to be
My pick, In the Mood for Love.
In the Mood for Love. God, I can't wait.